Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, buna, and privyet. It's really, really good to be with you again today, and I know you will be really happy you've joined us because guess who we have as our guest? It's Jennifer Jakobsen, who is your business therapist. That is so cool. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you, and I'm going to ask you to jump right in by telling us more about who you are and what you do.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a therapist and I am a life coach and I started my life coaching business about almost 5 years ago. I took a lot of time off. I was doing therapy and then I became a stay-at-home mom and I stayed at home with my three girls. And then I had to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up again after after my youngest went into school full time. And so I thought, you know what? I love life coaching. So I got certified as a life coach. And then over the last almost 5 years, I've changed my niche several times and have landed on the perfect one for me, which is being a business therapist. And basically what that means is I help coaches get out of their head, coaches and service providers both, but I help them get out of their head so they can actually solve the real problems in their business. So many of us get stuck in our heads and our mindset just throws us for all these loops. And so I help you get out of your head so you can actually really build the business of your dreams. So that is me in a nutshell. And I'm just so excited to be chatting with you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again for joining me. I'm so excited to be chatting with you. And for sure, I see a lot of resonance and commonalities in what you're sharing and a lot of what I've experienced also. For example, being a business person, going through that journey of changing your niche, trying to figure out your right fit. And in that process, there's just so much stuff going on that's like just your mind
Uh-huh.
playing tricks on you and
Yes.
fears popping up and all of that. And I am telling you, this is one of the most important lessons that I've learned that some of my mentors and coaches have helped me learn that really, truly, when you look at the root causes of pretty much any problem you have, it's not really about the strategy or, oh, I'm not having the right tools or software or this or that. Usually, almost always, the it comes down to like there's something going on in your mind. And if you
Exactly.
can
Yes.
figure that out and shift that, you can solve your problems with more fun and ease.
Absolutely. Yes, because our brain likes to make it complicated. Human brains, we do this. And this is totally normal. This is what we do. We make everything really complicated. We worry, we doubt. We have all these mindset blocks that come up. We feel like an imposter. We compare ourselves to everyone else. We feel like we're not good enough. And that is truly what holds us back, I believe. And no matter what strategy you're using, I mean, let's face it, there are so many strategies, there's so many tools, there's all of these options out there. But you cannot implement any strategy if you don't have your mindset, in the right kind of like, you got to have your brain kind of screwed on correctly. Otherwise, otherwise nothing's going to work. And that's what I discovered over the last 5 years, because really like having a business is tough. It's really a roller coaster ride. But if you have the right mindset, if you have a positive, mindset, and I'm not saying you have to be like happy and positive all the time, but if we can look at our thoughts and we can really question our thoughts and ask ourselves, is this really true? And what is a different thought that we want to think about this? We can get out of our own way and we can make our strategies actually work for us.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I'm so on board with you on
Yeah. And we can
that.
make it fun and easy, right? Like we can make it fun and easy, and it
Yes.
doesn't have to be as hard as we're making it. We always make it more complicated. And like I said, that's totally normal. And so, and not only do we sometimes like get down on ourselves and we get, we doubt ourselves and then we get mad at ourselves for getting down on ourselves. So it's really like, yeah, if we can just kind of like get out of our brain. And one of the things that I really think it's so important to focus on when we're in a service-based business is to really get out of our heads and focus on our clients, because ultimately it's about them. That's why we're doing this. We are coaches, we are, service providers because we want to help other people. And when we get stuck in our head and we start to, feel down on ourselves or, feel like we're not good enough, we're not doing our clients any favors, because the longer we stay stuck in our head and we're not putting our offers out there, we're not, helping our clients, that is, it's a shame. It's really a shame, because we need to be out there making offers to help people, because that's what we do best.
Indeed. Indeed. And I mean, not just making the offers, but when someone accepts your offer and you're working with them and you're not in the right headspace yourself, you can't serve them in the best way at
Not at
any stage of the process, you know? So, my gosh. So when we think about, all the different kinds of problems that can sort of come into our brain that, we uh, get stuck on that, make us feel like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Business is so
all.
hard. Making
Yeah.
changes so hard. When you think about all the potential problems, what would you say is maybe like one of the most common problems that you help your clients deal with? Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is such a good and difficult question to answer. I think, it's tough. I want to say doubt. I think there's so much doubt, especially when you're kind of newer in your business, and or you've been doing it for a little while and you're not making the money that you want to make. You're not making the impact you want to make. And so what you do is you start to doubt yourself. And what happens is that doubt it tends to spiral out of control. And what happens then is we start by doubting ourselves, and then we sort of, I've heard the term coined, the cute quit. We kind of quit on ourselves in a small way, and we don't show up, and we start to distract ourselves with unimportant things. We start to focus on things that aren't really going to help our clients. And so doubt can really spiral out of control. So I think that's one of the big things. And really, it's like, I think doubt gets in the way of one of the most important things that we need to do, which is being consistent.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like one of the biggest things that I've seen, coaches, when things get difficult, they unfortunately they give up and they think, oh, this is too hard. I can't do this, and that's such a shame because really it is going to be hard. And we also make it a lot harder than it needs to be. So I think if we can just look at those doubtful thoughts and we can try to reframe them, we can try to shift those stories. Like, for example, I know for me, like I've had so many sales calls that have ended in a no or not right now, or I have to wait until I get the money. And so oftentimes and I've done this myself many, many times, especially when I first started out, we make that about us. We think, okay, well, they said no because they don't think I'm good enough. They think that I'm not going to be able to help them. And so what happens is that doubt turns into, we're making their no mean something about us when really it oftentimes has nothing to do with us. And when we believe it's about us, we start to feel really bad and we might quit. We might cute quit where we, we stop doing the things that are going to help us grow in our business. We distract ourselves with other things. And that's really, it's such an easy thing to shift if we can remember that, it really doesn't have to be about us and we have to come back to our mission. So what? So what if somebody said no? There are so many people out there who are going to say yes. You just have to keep going and you have to trust yourself and you have to believe in the fact that you can help people and you really can help people. If your heart's in the right place, and you want to make a difference in the lives of your clients and in the world, you got to keep going. You got to deal with the roller coaster. And that's where I come in. That's where I can help you manage those thoughts so that you don't quit on yourself.
Yes. And isn't that like so, uh, I mean, important also in the sense that, especially for those of us who are service providers, who are coaches, like so much of what we work on with our clients is helping our clients manage their thoughts and manage
Mhm.
their doubts.
Yes.
And it's like, let's practice what we preach, apply all
Yeah.
of those good ideas and strategies and mindsets to ourselves. And as coaches and service providers, we know it's not always possible for us to maintain that positive energy and mindset that we need if you're struggling on your own. Sometimes you need help and support, and that's really what it's about.
I totally agree with you. And I think it's hard because I think as women, sometimes we think, oh, we should be able to do this on our own. We should be able to figure it out. And truly, we can't figure it out on our own. I know I've tried time and time again to coach myself, and it's so hard to coach yourself. It really is because we can't always see our own blocks. A lot of them are subconscious. Like a lot of the times we don't even realize what we're doing, and somebody else can see it so much more clearly than we can. Yes.
For sure. I mean, I've had this experience again and again and again where, oh man, like just I had this really ironic sort of experience recently when I was going through a little bit of a hard time. Um, and definitely I could eventually see that it was a mindset issue. But one of the things that sort of helped me get out of it was I wrote a book in which I have given amazing advice on how to create inner peace to world peace in 3 simple steps. And I forgot to implement my own advice. And my number one advice that I happened to open my book and it landed on, of course, the perfect page.
Oh
And
my
the
gosh, I
number
love
one
it.
bit of advice was get some help and support.
Yes, yes, I know, right? And we so often do that. We forget to follow our own advice and we get distracted, right? Like you have to stay focused. And it's so hard to stay focused as humans because we have like 60,000 thoughts, running through our head every day. And so it's hard to like focus on the basics that we might know and we might be able to tell our clients this, but sometimes we forget to, take our own advice. We forget to focus on the basics. And the basics are really like, who are you helping? How are you helping them? Focus on your client, right? And we forget that because we get so like caught up in our own brains and we get in that doubt and that worry and we think, oh gosh, what if, right? All of the what ifs. What if this doesn't work? What if I'm not going to be able to help this person? Oh, I should be able to figure this out. We should on ourselves a lot too. And so if we can just come back to the basics, but it's not always easy to do because our brains aren't supporting that for us. So we really need an outside person to be able to, help us and guide us and support us. And I really think it's one of the most important things we can do.
Yes. And so when you're helping and supporting your people, what are some concrete steps that, you might encourage them to take to help them begin to transition to a more positive, empowered mindset?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many. I mean, there's so many tools, but the very, very, very first step always has to be awareness. You always have to become aware first of what your thoughts actually are. And honestly, the best way to do this, is just to really figure out what works best for you. I mean, honestly, you might have to just experiment and try several different things. Maybe you love to meditate, so you can kind of meditate and become very aware of your thoughts. You can journal, even just going for a walk, going out into nature, but really tuning in to what your brain is saying. What are the sentences running through your mind? Because believe it or not, those are the sentences and those are the thoughts that are kind of controlling so
Mhm.
much of your everyday actions and your feelings and your success, right? So our thoughts lead to our feelings and our feelings lead to our actions and our actions lead to our results. So the first thing we have to focus on is getting to know what our thoughts are. And then we have to look at them. We have to analyze them without judgment, right? Because, we don't always have control over our thoughts if we don't know what they are. Now, as soon as we're aware of what they are, the crucial thing that you need to realize and you need to know is you have a choice. You can choose what those thoughts are. And it's hard because no one told me that growing up. When I was a little girl, like I just thought I had a feeling and that was just the feeling I was stuck with. And I was doomed to have that feeling and it made me feel, if it made me feel like crap, then I would not, take the actions that I wanted to take. But knowing now that I can choose my thoughts is so incredibly empowering. So as soon as you know what they are, you got to start to really look at them and question them. And you have to kind of ask yourself the question, is this thought serving me?
Mm.
And then if you're like, I don't think this thought is serving me. This thought is leading me to feel a way that I don't want to feel. You need to take a look at what is a different thought that I would rather believe? What is a different thought that I would rather think? And how would that thought make you feel? And when you realize that that actually is a better feeling, you need to start to practice thinking that thought over and over again. So it's really just getting very in tuned with your brain and your brain's going to play tricks on you. Your brain it's there to keep you safe. Like that's where all of, that's how we have, survived for millions of years, right? Like we needed our brains to keep us safe, and they're still hardwired in the same way. So we have to really question, yeah, maybe the thought's keeping me safe, but is it really giving me the result that I want? And a lot of times in business, being safe is not really what you want. You want to get out of your comfort zone, and you want to push yourself past where it feels safe, because that's when you're going to get the results that you really want.
Okay, okay. You brought really excellent points. And just to play a little bit of the devil's advocate,
Yes, I
I
love
want
it.
to ask you like some questions. So, like when you when you say, "Oh my gosh, you didn't always realize that you could choose your thoughts."
Yeah.
I think that's like so huge because just like you, I didn't always realize that I could choose my thoughts. Um, and when I was in that state of believing that I couldn't choose my thoughts, it's like um it just to hear someone say that, it's like, no, what are you talking about? I cannot choose my thoughts. Like, I know
Mhm.
especially as a trauma survivor, I was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
disempowered in that context because I had all these thoughts like
yeah,
constantly going in my brain. They were not happy. They were not empowering. They created a lot of shame and anger and fear and guilt and all kinds of negative emotions. And I honestly didn't think I had any control over them.
yeah.
And so for people for whom it's not their reality that they can control their thoughts, or at least that's how it feels, um, how can you help them, or how can they help themselves begin to experience the different reality that no, you can choose your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a really, really hard question to answer because it's so different for every single person. I think you just have to try it on, right? Like if you've never done this before, yes, it's going to be so like uncomfortable and strange, and it's not gonna it's going to go against the grain, right? Because you have always believed one way. And so I would just challenge people, and it's tough too because it sounds so simple, right? And so I don't want to ever discount the feelings that people are having, because yes, if you've gone through trauma, if you've gone through horrible things in your life, like it's okay to feel what you're feeling. And yes, it's so normal as human beings. We're going to feel that way. But the reality is that you don't have to stay there, right? Like you don't have to stay there. If you're not currently experiencing that trauma anymore, you can try on a different thought, right? And sometimes we have to try on a lot of different thoughts. And this comes from one of my mentors who I went to her conference this weekend, Brooke Castillo. She is like the founder of some of this, some of these models and thought work. And really that's what she talks about, is trying on a different thought and just seeing how it feels. And, you know, sometimes you got to try on a lot of different thoughts before you find the one that feels good for you. Like sometimes it's too big of a jump to go from, like, give me a thought, like help me, give me a thought and I'll see if we can work it.
So I remember having this thought a lot, especially during my early days as a coach, where I was like, oh, I'm not good enough because I don't have enough experience.
Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. I am not good enough because I don't have enough experience, right? And so how does that thought make you feel?
Oh, well, very but nervous about working with clients, And like, oh
Right.
my gosh, I have to learn more, learn more. So wanting to go into like avoidance in terms of actually working with clients by focusing on learning more.
Right. Right.
This
Right.
feeling of, like uh, uh, just feeling a sense of stress and anxiety
Yeah.
in terms of when I was actually trying to help clients.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect example. Thank you for that one. So not good enough because you don't have enough experience. So what that leads to is nervousness. And what that leads to is you learning more. And learning more isn't actually helping your clients, right? Like learning more, the result is you're learning more. And that's great. And I definitely encourage learning more. This is something I do all the time. I'm always learning, and sometimes learning can be a way of avoiding what you really want to be doing, which is helping your clients. So let's take the thought, I am not good enough because I don't have enough experience. Let me ask you this. Is that true? Do you really not have enough experience to help?
Well, um, in that mindset, I really did, yes, believe that was the truth because I was just starting out and I had in fact not coached very many people, at least not professionally. Um, and I mean, I compared myself to my coaches and I saw how much more quickly they got to the point and identified the root cause. And I was like, I'm just not able to do that as quickly and effectively. And so, yes, it's true. I don't have enough experience.
But did you, okay, so it feels true. It feels very, very true that you don't have enough experience. However, prior to that, did you have any experience in your life helping people?
Yes.
Yes, you did, right? So what if you tried on the thought, I have had some experience helping people, and so I can help some people.
Yes, that was true. That is true. Yes.
And how does that feel?
That feels better because there are at least some people I can help, so I might not be able to handle all the cases,
Right.
but I can definitely help some people. That's good.
Yeah, so that feels better. Tell me more about better. How does that feel? Like, does it feel, because before it was nervous. Do you
Mm.
feel a little less nervous, maybe?
Yeah, probably a little less nervous, but also a little more hopeful.
Yeah. And what actions do you take when you feel more hopeful?
Well, I am more willing to actually try
Hmm.
working with clients, and
Yeah,
when I run into a problem that I really, then I'm like, oh, I cannot solve this or something like that. I'm willing to give it a try.
absolutely. Yeah. And that thought, just trying on that new thought gives you this sense of hope, which gets you moving into action and actually serving those clients. So that is a great way to start to build a business.
Yay.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're right. In the very beginning, you're absolutely right. You don't have a ton of experience. You don't have as much experience as your coach has, but you have some experience to help some people. And then you can keep learning and then you'll get more experience to help more people. But by staying stuck in that thought, you won't ever get that experience you need.
That's
So you're
right.
never going to
That's
grow.
right.
You're never going to be able to help even more and more people. So yes, so just switching that one thought. Can you kind of see what a difference that can make?
Yes, indeed. And it actually made me think about other thoughts and other lessons that can support that one because I remember one of my actually this was I can't believe I forgot, like I was some we were saying earlier to apply things that I've actually learned and that I would teach other people. But before I started coaching professionally, the what I was doing was working on a sexual assault and domestic violence hotline as a crisis counselor. And one of the most important lessons I would say we learned in that context was, yes, you're not going to have the solution to every situation.
Right,
But we
right.
always had a planned response. And so in situations where I was like, okay, I have personally tried everything that I can, and I'm still not able to resolve this situation or help this person in this moment. So then the response was ask for help and support, go to my mentor, my supervisor, and
Yeah,
you know, like literally we would hand the case over to
yeah,
them
right.
and or refer the person out to some other um, organization or resource from where they could get the more appropriate help and support that they needed, you
Yeah,
know? And so it's like, but as a coach, when I stepped into that role, I built up this expectation in my head,
mm,
like, and who put that expectation on me that I should be able to help every client in every situation? When I had already learned that I couldn't do that in a different context and what I could do instead. So
yes, yes. And you are the only one who put that expectation on yourself, right? And so,
yeah,
yeah, and we do that so often as human beings, as service providers, we put these high expectations on ourselves. And in the beginning, we can't meet those expectations. We have to kind of go step by step, little by little. And then we gain confidence and then we help more people and then we gain more confidence. And it's just, yeah. So, but putting those really high expectations on yourself and then, feeling bad about yourself, that doesn't get you to where you want to go. So you have to give yourself some grace. You have to give yourself permission to, do it imperfect in the beginning and definitely ask for help. Definitely ask for help.
oh, thanks for that. That was like totally see the business therapist in you, and you're a brilliant,
Thank
brilliant
you.
business therapist. Oh, oh my gosh, now I'm in a dilemma. Should we keep talking, although it's time to start wrapping up,
I know we could talk
or
forever,
just
right?
bring
I
you
know.
back? I'm thinking let's bring you back and keep talking
I
in
would
the
love
next
that.
episode.
Yes, I would love
Oh,
that.
oh, me too, me too. And so for right now, do you have any last thoughts or words that you would like to share with us?
I think we covered so much, so many golden nuggets today. But yeah, I want to encourage everyone to really like listen to that inner voice and, know that help is out there. If you're struggling, there's always somebody there that can help you. And, if you can get out of your head and stop telling yourself, I should be able to figure it out on my own. I need to be able to do this without another person. That's just another thought. And really that leads us to feel very isolated. That leads us to feel very much alone. And so you don't have to be alone. We can make this change fun and easy by helping others know that they can, really reach out for help. There's so many people in the world. And I'm just going to go on a tangent here, but I think the more coaches in the world, the better this world is going to be. So if you're wanting to be a coach, if you are a coach, like keep going, don't give up and seek help because you're going to make a huge difference in the world. And that difference is a ripple effect because you're going to help other people. They're going to help other people. It's going to keep going and going. So yes, don't quit on yourself. Keep going. You can do this, but don't hesitate to reach out for help.
Thank you. Thank you for that really, really important encouragement and reminder, Jennifer. And I'm going to remind all of our listeners, please make sure you check the show notes because we'll be adding Jennifer's links there so you can connect with her and get some help and support. whenever you need it, whenever you're ready for it. So please do that. And until we connect next time, I just wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.
Thank you.